Good morning, Rumble. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the Ryan Matta Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We're going to get into a lot today. Max Kaiser, what's going on over in Argentina? It looks like maybe it's not going to be the next El Salvador, to say the least. It's pretty wild what these people are doing. We're going to talk a little bit about how they're blowing billions and billions of dollars on DEI over in Europe. Bitcoin just broke back above 65,000, actually broke back above 66,000 for a second, and is now beginning to retrace back down to the lower 65,000s, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to get into that. So we're going to talk about what Max Kaiser slams Argentina for new Bitcoin regulatory regime, which is going to be, I mean, completely devastating to Argentina. It's almost unbelievable that, Jarvi, if I'm saying his name right, is choosing to go this path. I really thought we had hope for this guy, and we're going to talk about too. If you guys aren't following me over on LFA TV, you guys are missing out, folks. Today's show, if you guys really want to dive down a rabbit hole and talk about what's about to happen on, and I'm talking, we're going to go deep. We're not just going to talk about this solar eclipse. We're going to talk about elite powers, who owns and who originally started Pfizer, what happened to these people. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. You guys really want to go down a rabbit hole? Trust me, it's going to it's going to blow your fucking mind, to say the least. Can't even talk about it over here on YouTube. So let's dive into this first article over here on bitcoinnews.com. Sorry, I was running a little late. I couldn't stop listening to this report that just came out. It wasn't even a report. It was a podcast, like an audio version podcast. It was like an hour long, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. So Bitcoin spot ETFs mark record-breaking volume in March. In March, Bitcoin spot ETFs saw a notable surge, with trading volume hitting 111 billion, nearly tripling February's figures. March was a remarkable period for spot Bitcoin ETFs. These are the exchange-traded funds, with trading volume reaching nearly an impressive $111 billion, which nearly tripled figures from February. The surge in Bitcoin spot ETF volume reflects a growing interest in the relatively new financial instrument within the digital asset market. Now, Eric, I can't really say his last name, a senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg, shared the significance of March trading volume on a social media platform, calling it March Madness. He noted that it was almost triple the combined volume of January and February. However, the analysis remained cautious about predicting future trends, stating that, "I can't imagine April will be bigger, but who knows?" So actually, I can throw that up on the screen here. Taking a look at it right over here on the screen. These are all the trading volume for all the new ETFs. And you can see they're actually sorted out by color as well. Sorry, I'll take that 3D thing off there. But we can see right here, you got BITB, which I believe is, who's that, Grayscale? And then we have IBIT, which is BlackRock. We have Fidelity, and then all the other ones that come below it. And you guys can see they're sorted by color right here. Oh, no, GBTC is Grayscale. So I don't know who BitB is, but they're at the very top here with almost no volume. So it actually goes by color. I thought they were in order. But you can see that over here on the chart as well. However, recent trends indicate a cooling down of spot Bitcoin ETF popularity. The new daily trading volume dropping to 5.4 billion, down 36% from its peak in early March. Now, despite positive net inflows into Bitcoin investment products last week, Grayscale outflows persisted, impacting Bitcoin price, which experienced a $5,000 correction, trading at around 65,500. And actually, I want to throw some jams on here. I always forget to put music on in the beginning because that's not in my program, so I keep forgetting it to add it over here. But just give me 1 second. We'll throw some, we'll get some of these jams going back on here. Let's do this. So GBTC outflows in March. Despite the overall success of spot Bitcoin ETFs, Grayscale's GBTC fund faced considerable challenges. Since its launch in January, GBTC had experienced a total outflow surpassing $15 billion, indicating significant selling pressure. The selling pressure intensified early in March following reports of Genesis Global Holding Company potential sale of 35.9 million of their Grayscale shares, valued at around $2 billion. 35.9 million GBTC shares, valued at $2 billion. Now, analysis observed fluctuations in Grayscale's outflow, with a drop from 64.2 million on March 18th to 104.9 million on March 28th, suggesting a potential slowdown in selling pressure. However, recent data showed a resurgence, with outflows surpassing daily averages, reaching $302.6 million. James writes, now a $302.6 million outflows from GBTC today, honestly, higher than I expected. I thought this would have slowed down by now, he quoted. These outflows have contributed to a 46% decrease in GBTC's Bitcoin holdings since January. Imagine that. Imagine having such a massive lead where everybody in the industry is saying, yeah, whoever gets that massive lead right off the bat is going to control all the volume, they control all the liquidity, they'll control all the Bitcoin. And then for whatever reason, like what in the hell would you be thinking? Besides you want to collapse the market. Like besides that you absolutely hate Bitcoin, you have no desire to make this market or industry better for anybody else. Get your money out of Grayscale. Anything that Grayscale touches is just seems to be anti-crypto, pro-regulations, pro-government, pro-big brother. Get your money out of USDC too. It's a fucking scam shit centralized stablecoin. Bitcoin spot ETFs market leaders. Meanwhile, BlackRock's IBT and Fidelity FBTC emerged as leaders in the Bitcoin holdings among spot Bitcoin ETFs, collectively amassing over $27 billion worth of Bitcoin. Despite Grayscale struggles, BlackRock and Fidelity ETFs continue to attract significant inflows, with assets under management reaching around $18 billion and $10 billion respectively. According to recent data by James, IBT has taken over the volume market shares from Grayscale. Wow, that's pretty crazy. While all of the ETFs won in terms of being profitable hits, IBit won the volume race and is officially the GLD of Bitcoin. It's basically a wrap. See, I think the other way around. I think a lot of early investors are just going, ooh, BlackRock, I'm going to put my money there. I think as Larry Fink ends up, facing treasonous charges and quite possibly could, meet his ultimate demise for the crimes that he's committed against this country and against everybody in America, along with people all around the world, I wouldn't be so singing that tune. That would be the last place I would want to put my money. Whether it's the United States or another foreign country, somebody's going to be coming for BlackRock. And take a look at how much money they're about to lose in Ukraine. How much money they bet billions and billions of your dollars thinking that they were going to rebuild Ukraine and get the rights to rebuild Ukraine. I have a feeling Putin's not going to let that one slide. And then now seeing what Zelensky's been doing and the fact that he's going against the USA's orders, it's just a matter of time before Putin owns all of Ukraine. And I mean, you might even be talking about trillions of dollars worth of losses for BlackRock and these corporations. I mean, it's big, big money. They were over there shilling out to Zelensky. And they took all your hard-earned American dollars and they drove them over into Chinese companies and Chinese corporations so that China could extort the wealth from American taxpayers. You really want to put your money into something like that? Wake up, America. We let these people do this shit to us for way too long. These people are straight evil, satanic, sadistic. It's about all I can say on that one over here on YouTube. Bitcoin trends. Come over on LFA today. You guys really want to hear go down that rabbit hole, you'll hear. Bitcoin trends. The recent conversation saw nearly 500 million in liquidations and surges in bearish sentiment in its options market. Additionally, spot Bitcoin ETFs returned to the net inflows or net outflows after a week of net inflows, with Monday's outflows totaling 85.7 million, primarily driven by Grayscale's fund shredding $302 million. Now, as digital markets brace for Bitcoin halving event scheduled for April 20th, which I believe that's wrong now, I think it's down to April 19th, investors remain vigilant. And amid market uncertainties, the evolving landscape of spot Bitcoin ETFs. So check this out, folks. These Bitcoin ETFs are going to lead to so much adoption. I would be putting my money over in Bitwise if I was still an indoctrinated sheep and felt like I needed to give some other adult or some other college student who just graduated from some woke university and never made an investment or added any value in his life, and I'm going to trust that man with my life savings. If I was that naive and still that sheepish that I wanted to put my money into a Bitcoin spot ETF instead of cashing it out and paying a 25% fine to put my money into an asset that's going to appreciate at 48% per year every year, well, and then you might be still lost, but that's all right. Stick around this channel. We're going to wake you up. We're going to get you to a point where you're going to self-custody your own Bitcoin. You're going to tell these people to kick rocks, and we're just going to sit here and laugh while we just make millions and sell our, and they try to buy our Bitcoin back from us at millions of dollars. Check this out. Bitcoin traders, we're going to jump over to our next article over on Cointelegraph by William Suberg. His article states Bitcoin traders ignore Silk Road sales as BTC prices bounce at 66.5K. Now, Bitcoin bearish narrative should not get in the way of the broader picture, analysis say. Bitcoin at the time of writing was $66,688, which returned above $66,000 on April 3rd as market observers brushed off Silk Road BTC sales. So hopefully they get into that. BTC price claws back April's lost ground. Data from Cointelegraph Market Pro and TradingView tracked a modest BTC price recovery after nearing 64,500, and this was after the daily close. These came amid news that the United States government had moved more than 30,000 Bitcoin, worth $2.1 billion. It was when it confiscated from the defunct marketplace Silk Road on-chain. Now, subsequently, selling 2,000 BTC for $133 million. Like, that's how fucking dumb that's how much our government hates you. Our government was sitting on billions of dollars, and it sounds out. I don't know if they sold it. Hopefully they tell us here. Which it confiscated from the defunct marketplace Silk Road on-chain, subsequently selling 2,000 BTC for $130 million. Okay. While this appeared to agate an already nervous market, traders were quickly to call for calm. In every market, we've got bullish and bearish narratives. Michael Von D. Pope, founder and CEO of trading firm MNT Trading, wrote in part of his response on X, quote, At peak bullish momentum, you'll see a huge impact of every bearish narrative. This time, it's the Silk Road Bitcoin being transferred. Von D. Pope added that he was happy that more of the BTC supply was already available. Others stressed the insignificance of the amount sold. And this was Thomas, our man Thomas over at Hey Apollo, folks. If you guys aren't following Hey Apollo, swing over there and check them out. So Thomas at Hey Apollo said, genius, US government sent $2 billion worth of Silk Road Bitcoin. This enables them to cover 2/3 of their daily interest on payments that service the national debt. Oh, that's rich. That's good. I like that one, Thomas. If you guys aren't following Thomas over on X, he goes by Thomas_FAHRER over on X, and they're running Hey Apollo. So if you guys aren't visiting Hey Apollo and checking the ETF tracker over there, swing over and check them out. So on the buy side, the latest data from sources, including United Kingdom-based investment firm Farside, puts the total inflows to U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF exchange-traded funds at just over 40 million for April 2nd. Now, combined with the 183 million seen on March 28th, the previous Wall Street trading day, with a positive net flow, the total easily eclipses the government sell-off. The total easily eclipses the government sell-off. And then if you just look over here, you guys can't look over here, but I'll show you guys. So this is their table. And if you just go over to heyapollo.com, I believe it's Hey Apollo. It might be just be apollo.com. Let's see. Yeah, it's heyapollo.com is the website you guys can just swing over to. And you can see their, just go right up here on the top to Bitcoin ETF trackers. And then you guys can get access to all this information. Not just that information. I mean mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains of information. What you can actually do over here too is you can make free Bitcoin, folks. I mean, what better way? You come over here to learn, and you can actually go over and you can give reviews for these companies. And each time you give a review, you're getting paid in Bitcoin for leaving that review. So you can come over here and look at all the different companies that they work with. You can learn. They have a bunch of educational content that you can get for free. And then if you go over to all their apps and you leave reviews on their apps, you can actually earn Bitcoin by leaving reviews. I don't know where that page is at, but you guys can track it down over here. It's a sweet way to just earn free Bitcoin. If you're sitting at your house and you're spending all your time Netflixing and chilling and you own 0 Bitcoin, I mean, you're in the exact position in life today because of the choices you made yesterday and the day after and the day after and the day after. So, I mean, what better opportunity than to not waste your time than to come over here and earn some free Bitcoin? Just my mindset, but hey, what do I know? Just a dude on a computer. Where were we at here? Let's keep it rolling. So Bitcoin needs follow through from buyers, he says. In his last market update, meanwhile, popular trader Skew hoped to see spot buyers maintain momentum. Now, I quote, nice sweep of the lows and good buyback reaction. Needs to follow through from buyers, he told his followers on X, BTC/USD on the 4-hour time frame. Even more optimism was fellow trader Jelly, who stressed that Bitcoin bulls had already cleared the most significant long-term resistance hurdles. And if we jump over here on this chart, and I believe that people are tweeting out right now that it's not going below 59K, which is where I got my next limit buy order. I got one at 64,500, which just got hit yesterday. And then I got another one at 62,000. And then I got another one at, I think it's 62,600. We can go take a look at them. And then I got another one at 59,000. I'm going to try to add another 5,000. I was able to get another 5,000 over the last couple of weeks. So corrections are normal. They do happen. You'll see them happening in every market circumstance, independent of whatever narrative Von D. Pope continued the day prior. Said, in this case, and I quote, in this case, I fancy a correction on Bitcoin as it would imply a healthier and organic market cycle. Dips are buying in these markets. And I couldn't agree more. So if we can jump over the charts now and take a look at the charts for a second. I don't know why I'm so zoomed in over here. Hey guys, you guys are just joining us. Do me a huge solid. Smash that like button for us. Help us pump this content out. Help us get a little bit more people, a few more people in here. So the main thing I've been paying attention to that we're normally on for like a majority of the cycle is the RSI uptrend. Not just the uptrend of the market, but the uptrend of RSI. So if you notice, a lot of times price is coming down a lot harder than RSI is, but we've been able to maintain and like stay on this same trend trajectory. On the daily time frame, we got quite a few indicators over here. We just take a look at our 50-day moving average, which we stay up a majority of the entire cycle. We might dip below it and break below it for a second, and then it almost always rallies above. You can see down here, we came down to the 100-day moving average. And let's see, when was that? That was right in the beginning of January. So we might have been able to break down below some of our moving averages in the bullish cycle, but it wasn't enough because the ETFs weren't really firing up. I mean, they were just getting up and running at that time in early January. And then now we're seeing these ETFs. I mean, the amount of inflows and people that are moving their money out of traditional markets and coming over here into Bitcoin, I think is pretty astronomical. And, so if worst case, I would say, we come down at in my absolute worst case would be about 66,000. And that would be like, actually, I would say worst case would be 47. And that would be a major liquidity crisis in traditional markets, rapid sell-off, panic in the markets, big whales take profits just because they know that they're going to be able to buy it back cheaper. They're going to be able to manipulate retail investors, and maybe BlackRock's going to come in here. But I think a majority of that will be so quick that I don't even know if you're going to have time to move assets around and even catch it. I think it'll be like when we saw back in... we do have a liquidity crisis. I think it's going to be quicker than what we saw in because everybody's going to be going to Bitcoin. Anybody that was able to get out is going to be going to Bitcoin. Everybody that didn't get a chance to get in is going to be going to Bitcoin. Let me jump over here and get an older chart. Do you guys remember back in the first drop right here when we fell from 58,000 all the way down to 29,000 or 28,000? That was 29,000. And in the same trading day, we had went all the way from 29,500 in one candle all the way back up. That's 46% back up in one day, back up to 43. So if we do get one of these fall off of cliffs and Bitcoin for some reason because of, a black swan event or the solar eclipse, and they, take out some power grids and people are panicking and the zombie apocalypse is clicking in or is starting to take place, well, then, I think the lowest we're ever going to see it is about 46,000. And that would be to confirm support down here. We do have a lot of support down here at that 46K range. That would be my lowest, but I still think that if you don't buy within 24 hours, it's going to be back above 55 to 56,000. I think you'll have a few hours in there because every single person, their brother, their sister, not just in the United States, but in the globe, You know, the last numbers I heard is, Bitcoin adoption now only makes up for like 12% of that is taking place in the United States. So your politicians are so corrupt. They didn't fumble the ball. They fucking punted it. Like, these people had no intention of making your life any better or protecting your wealth or helping you guys get out of the rat race. You guys are slaves, man. What? Like, you're saving in fiat dollars. You're broke. You're fucking brokey, as Andrew Tate would say it. And then you're gonna stay a brokey. You gotta have no choice but to put as much of your wealth into Bitcoin as humanly possible. Do it as fast as possible. And while you can make as much money as possible, I mean, the gains are still here. So, me personally, I don't think we're gonna go right now. I mean, we did just bounce there at the 64,000. Now, if I do switch these on the other side, which has normally been a indicator of a much more bearish trend, is when we break above the 200-day on the 4-hour time frame. So Bitcoin did get trapped now under the 100, 200-day, and 20-day moving averages all right here. And it came up here, it just tested them, it got rejected, went back down, and now it's coming back up again to try to break through those. If we break through those, I think it's gonna be really bullish. If we get rejected again, I think it's gonna come down at the very least. And most traders, I think, are saying down here around like 59,000. But this is fucking Bitcoin, guys. I'm just drawing lines on a chart. This thing has a mind of its own. Take it for what it is. I don't know. I just keep buying every chance I get. I've just bought 15,000 at these higher levels up here. So if I get the opportunity to DCA in a little bit more at these lower levels, by all means, I'm going to try to do it. Like I said, I just got one at 64,500 up here. And I'm going to try to get another one. I think it's at like 62,000. Yeah, I think I did 62,000, like 500 or 600. You know, nothing's worse than being at like 64,500 and it only comes down to like 64,000, 515, and you miss it by like $15. I've done that quite a few times. So I always try to just go like, am I really going to care if I buy Bitcoin at 65,400 or 65,500 or 600 or 700? Hell no. It ain't going to make a difference when this thing's $700,000 or $1 million per coin. So I just keep buying every chance I get. Now let's jump into some of our first clips here. Take a look at Janet Yellen, right? Like, these are the people that are supposed to be the so-called adults in the room. I think this is what should terrify everybody. Daniel says she says limited experiment, but I hear inflation is transitory. This is the Treasury Secretary.
I want to ask you about the dollar quickly. You were in Brazil last month. Brazil has a deal with China not to trade in U.S. dollars. We're seeing a number of countries now not trading in U.S. dollars, and that seems to be growing around the world. How is the U.S. countering these moves? And are you concerned about chipping away at the reserve currency status?
I think the dollar has always been, and I believe will remain, the most important reserve currency. There really is no rival in terms of the depth of U.S. financial markets, the liquidity of U.S. treasuries, the institutional and legal structure.
She also told you it was transitory.
The use of the dollar and its broad acceptability. There are countries that would ideally like to trade in other ways, and we are seeing some limited experiments in different parts of the world, but there is no broad-based move away from the dollar, and I believe it's critically important that the dollar remain the world's reserve currency.
Are we countering those moves, or the U.S.?
Well, we continue to run an economy where we have a commitment to low inflation and solid economic performance, and that underpins the dollar's use as a reserve currency.
People are gonna fucking lose everything, man. It's so funny. It is so freaking astonishing at this point, right? Like, you actually think that this government is here to help you and they're gonna do anything to save you? I mean, it is laughable at this point. Laughable at this point. Like, limited experiments. This is the same lady who told you inflation was transitory, that they had everything under control, that there was going to be no more bank collapses the day before Silicon Valley collapsed, right? This lady has been absolutely wrong about every single thing that she's ever stated. And now we are watching the dollar just get devastated Devastated. Joe Biden and this administration have done more damage to the dollar than any other country in the world. Oh, hold on. I got to turn off these ad blockers. I want to show you guys this article, but I can't get into Reuters right now. Oh, here, let me just pull it up on my other Brave browser, folks. If you guys aren't using Brave, it's such a nice website. It really is. It makes things so much easier. So check this out. U.S. dollar to remain world currency, Fed Walker says. Did you guys go over here and you just take a look at the narrative that they're trying to manipulate you guys into believing? This shit will just blow your mind, right? Like these are the state-funded media outlets, the ones that helped rig the 2024 election, the ones that continue. These guys are just an extension of the United States government. This is state-funded media, government propaganda. You can almost guarantee that anything that you take from Reuters or any New York Times or Wall Street Journal or any of these websites, what they are telling you is always a lie. Every single time. I don't even know if they ever even published anything that's true. So when you go over to these websites and you see the narrative that they are pushing, you can almost guarantee that is not the case. And that should be your first sign. Don't believe me. Check this one out, right? This one will help you understand how a majority of Americans are feeling. So Max Kaiser says, suck it up, basically. But check this out. So neo-fundalism takes hold. Suck it up, Buttercup. She said, woman defends Gen Z not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And we are getting to a point where you cannot keep your head above water. But I'll let her go on a rant first, and I'll go on mine.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat. All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago when you first started, you were able to do everything that I am now struggling to do. Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to gain raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. You let it all run to hell. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
No, it's not. And she's 100% right. Gen Z doesn't want to be a freaking slave. You're going to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life so you can barely afford to put a roof over your head? You realize the slaves had Sundays off? And they got 3 squares a day, they got a roof over their head, and they got a master, right? When you are broke, the government is your master. And it's that fucking simple, folks. Period. This government has no intention to help you. The elite older boomer generation, right, sat by and they let this government lie, cheat, steal, pillage, and completely destroy our economy in a rigged system that's designed for you to be a good little obedient slave. It is that simple. At this point, you just got to call it out for what it is. How is what we are dealing with and what Gen Z is dealing with any different than slavery? And I lived it, right? There is an opportunity, right? But the opportunity is I have to go get 3 jobs at this point. I have to work for 2 years, and this is the point she's missing, right? She needs to sacrifice 2 years, getting a second job. Looks like she's working at Walmart. The second one should be at McDonald's. I think they pay a little better. In California, starting pay is $20 an hour, right? And then you put every single penny from every single paycheck. And if she's still living at home, she should get 2 jobs. Now that she doesn't have to pay a bill, she doesn't have a house, right? And put all of that money into Bitcoin. And that is the only hope she has at not being a complete drone in the Matrix. Going by, eating your slurp little pudding. You're going to eat bugs. You're going to eat some ground oatmeal, like literally just in the Matrix. You're going to go to work. You're going to eat your Slurpees. You're going to slurp your stuff. They're going to have some type of chemical cocktail. So you just inject yourself when you come home, or you take a pill and you sit on your couch like a zombie little slave and you watch your regurgitated version of Netflix and everybody's watching the same thing and it's over and over and over, and you live in this Groundhog Day that is just, you're just designed to be a controlled little obedient slave. And until you break that cycle, or until enough Gen Z wakes up and says enough's enough, we're not doing it, we're not going to be slaves. We're not going to go sit here and pay and give a government 53% of every penny we make. She wouldn't be struggling. Imagine if she got to keep the other 53%, or how about just maybe another 50%? I'm not against paying taxes. I think a 3% tax is perfectly fine. Honestly, it should probably be 2, because our founding fathers fought a revolution over a 3% tax. So why don't we just drop it down to 2? 2% flat tax on everything you buy, period. No income tax, no sales tax, or no property tax, no death tax. The government gets 2, and that 2% is allocated to them via the blockchain, via Bitcoin, and we track every penny that they spend, and Congress wears body cams. Every member of our government should take a drug test every week. They should wear body cams, and they should be forced to take lie detector tests before they are elected. And how fast do you think that everything would change around this country? You go to work, you got to take a drug test, and you're like a garbage man, and you got to take a drug test. But yet these people are making laws that dictate every aspect of our life. They've been fighting a war on drugs since we were 30, spending billions and billions of our tax dollars. And now they're just paying the drug dealers to come here. And now Michigan wants to give $5,000 to every single gangbanger that comes across this country and broke in illegally. If Michigan, folks, Michigan's going to fall. If you live in Michigan, you should come join me on LFA today, because we're going to go hard into that as well as what's going to happen on the solar eclipse. So you think you're just going to put your head in the sand and everything's a conspiracy theory? You're about to find out how real these conspiracies really are when you wake up and I don't want to say it over here because it'll get my channel shut down. But come and join me on LFA today at 2:30 or at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll blow your fucking mind. Rajat Soni, CFA over on X, tweets out. He says, "This video is about Bitcoin. This video about Bitcoin is wrong in so many levels. I'm going to need to make a thread to explain it." Richard Fain, if you'd like, we can have a conversation if you'd like to discuss this. I like when he calls people out like that. Check this out.
I have no real reason that I can think why people buy Bitcoin other than they think they're going to get rich. And we already know that that's not true. Look at the history of it, guys. 2009 to 2024. Look at millions and millions of people who have lost their life savings fooling around with cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. I don't see it happening. I see a big, gigantic rug pull coming.
Anyone know what a rug pull is? Sam Bankman-Fried's a rug pull. Bernie Madoff's a rug pull, right? How much money and how many people around Bernie Madoff made billions and billions of dollars, and how many people went to jail? How many bankers went to prison during the 2008 financial crisis? Oh, they didn't. Obama bailed them all out with your tax dollars, folks. Now they're setting themselves up again, right? BlackRock's trying to get itself regulated like a bank so that they are too big to fail because they know something's coming. Now, literally every single billionaire that I know is almost 100% out of the market. I mean, 100%. We're talking about people like Jamie Dimon, who never, ever in their life has ever sold out of any positions ever. And he's out, 100% out of the market. Warren Buffett, 100% out. Warren Buffett getting hit for insider trading, right? Who else? I think Ray Dalio's out. And I could just probably go on. Charlie Munger, the list goes on, right? Every Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates has been pretty much dead on accurate about every pandemic that he's ever predicted, every virus. Pretty strange, right? Considering he creates them. These people are all out of the market while you're sitting there with your entire 401k, your entire net wealth, and some little woke nerd that just graduated from some woke university that's been indoctrinated his entire life. And again, like I said, has never produced anything of value, is now sitting there behind a computer screen because he got a degree from Harvard and MIT, and his buddy's dad worked on Wall Street, and now he's your hedge fund trader. This dude's managing your fucking 401k. And you work at the post office. Where did Janet Yellen put your pension? Who bailed out Silvergate Bank, folk? What pension fund bailed out Silvergate Bank? Was it the firefighters or was it the postal workers? You guys drop a comment. Drop 1 for postal workers, drop a 2 for the firefighters pension. You guys tell me. Let's jump over here and see what Max Keisner's got to say. Bitcoin bull Max Keisner slams Argentina's new Bitcoin regulatory regime. Max Keisner, who dubs himself as the high priest of Bitcoin, has launched a scathing criticism after Javier Milei, can never say his name right, the libertarian president of Argentina, for his recent move to regulate Bitcoin in the country. Kyer took to a social media platform X to express his disapproval, stating that Milei's decision represents a major misstep. He asserts that Milei's lack of understanding of Bitcoin will ultimately lead to negative consequences. What a joke, man. He never took the time, says Max Kyer. Well, he said, what a major mistake. He said he never took the time to understand, and now he'll suffer the consequences. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Oops. Milei is the build-up to the presidential election was seen as Bitcoin friendly. He secured a historic victory in Argentina's presidential runoff election on November 19th of 2023, defeating his opponent Sergio Massa with 55% of the votes. At his inauguration on December 10th of 2003, many considered it a turning point in Argentina politics. There was hope and anticipation for his plans to rebuild the nation's economy and promote cryptocurrency adoption. This is so considering many believe Bitcoin has what it takes to help solve Argentina's inflationary woes. In fact, just before last Christmas, contractors denominated in Bitcoin were legally recognized, meaning parties in Argentina can create contracts in Bitcoin in the stipulated currency. However, just a few months into the presidency, signs of a shift in stance emerged. Man, this sucks. I thought I really was hopeful for Argentina. And then I seen what he did to fund transgender surgery for children, like $1 billion in Argentina pesos or something. Now, where did I leave off here? In late March, their commission, Nocal de Valores in Argentina, announced the implementation of a new mandatory registry of virtual asset service providers, ushering in a more regulations for entities operating with crypto assets in the country. Kyer and crypto communities disapproved of his policies. The development has drawn criticism from figures like Matt Kyer, member of the cryptocurrency community, including Neo at 21 Millstone underscore BTC. I like that. 21 Millstone BTC. That's awesome. Neo expresses disappointment in Milei's perceived reversal, highlights the impact of new regulations on Bitcoin adoption in Argentina. He claims that previously he used to pay contractors in Argentina using Bitcoin via Lightning Network. But since the new government took office, custodial apps have ceased allowing Bitcoin transfers, signaling a shift away from freedom in the cryptocurrency space. And I don't know if you've seen it, Jack Mallers' post, that strike in Argentina is no longer working. So they're now no longer allowed to use the Lightning network in Argentina. Now, similarly, Argentina's NGO directive member and Money On-Chain Protocol co-founder Manuel Ferrari, in an interview with Forbes, describes the new regulations as a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea to have a registry that enables the buying and selling of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money, not security. It is wrong as a currency exchange house for dollars or euros or shops where gold is bought and sold to register with the CNV. It's complete nonsense. Some analysts have also argued with Kyer, noting that if appropriate steps are not taken, Argentina may suffer the economic consequences. The analysis says they will continue to watch keenly to see how far the crypto regulations will be implemented, given the Texas Bitcoin miners recently teamed up with Argentinians firm to sustainably mine operations, to set up sustainable mining operations. So, I thought that was a big move. We thought it was awesome. We've seen all these miners that were moving to Argentina, and we're going to start mining Bitcoin in Argentina. It seemed like a huge win for the citizens of Argentina. It seemed like a huge win for the adoption of Bitcoin. And now they're talking about regulating, and they're trying to make it harder for the everyday citizen in Argentina to protect their wealth. And you see where this is going. You see what they're doing over in Europe and self-custody wallets. You see what Hitler Trudeau is doing up in Canada. Castro Trudeau, or whatever you want to call him. And it doesn't seem like it's going to benefit anybody. It's definitely not going to benefit the citizens. And just look at what's happened in El Salvador. It should have been the shining example for the rest of the world. Like, Jarvie had an opportunity to completely change the course of history for Argentina. Now, maybe that dude's wild, right? Maybe this is all just a ploy, and he's just manipulating these scumbags, and he just really wants to just kick them when they're down, and all of a sudden he's going to come out of nowhere and be like, haha, fuckers, Bitcoin's legal tender, suck it, you know? Or I wouldn't put it past the dude. The dude seemed like he was like an even more baller version of Bukele. Like right to your face, raw, like you don't argue with a leftist because the leftist wants to kill you, right? Why is he regulating Bitcoin? What a joke, man. What a joke, man. But let's see what Kathy Woods has to say. Kathy Woods, the currency devaluation around the world that people are not talking about. Nigerian down 60%. Egypt devalued 40%. Bitcoin is the hedge against loss of purchasing power.
Can you explain, and we were debating it last couple of days about Bitcoin, Joe and Becky, back in New York.
Yeah,
we've all
I've heard.
been together. You've seen it. What do you think is happening? I mean, we saw Bitcoin get up to $70-something thousand, drop down to $66,000. I was making the argument that it has been very tied to the NASDAQ. It's been very tied to the markets, and as a result, it is more likely a function of liquidity and sort of speculation than it is a function of what the Federal Reserve is going to do. Even though the Federal Reserve has sort of been moving the markets, what's your analysis of why it's moved the way it has?
Okay, up dramatically.
Right.
You have the ETFs. There's something else going on around the world. There are currency devaluations taking place that people are not talking about. The Nigerian naira is down 50-60% in the last 9 months. Egypt just devalued by 40%. Argentina continuing to devalue. I think this is a flight to safety, believe it or not, taking place. A hedge against devaluation, a hedge against a loss of purchasing power and wealth. That's very important. And we saw this even here last year in the United States. Regional banks imploded. Right. Bitcoin went up 40%. Bitcoin does not have counterparty risk. I think, and we're putting out a piece in the next few weeks, which is, this is both, get this, a risk on asset. And so you talk about the NASDAQ.
The risk on.
But it is risk off. I remember we got in at $250 when Greece was threatening to leave the euro, right?
But is that folks that are speculating about currency, or is that folks in Nigeria and in Greece and other places saying, I got to get my money out of this currency and move it themselves? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. I think this is an insurance policy against rogue regimes or against just horrible fiscal and monetary policies.
Bingo. Bingo. Let's jump over here to the live chat and say what up to everybody. I see we got a whole packed house over here. We got Dodger Blue, my boy. Good to see you, my friend. We got Rumble Rick, PDX Leroy, Cookie Tiger, Hernando, RC, the legend himself. Great to see you, Hernando. I know I should have been jumping over to the live chat. We got a packed house over here today. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for smashing that like button. We got, we got a 33% like ratio going on over here on Rumble. I dig it, man. Let's jump over here. This chat was filled up too, but for some reason, when I pulled it out, I popped it out, all the chats disappeared. So Decrypted Taxes, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, see the email. Absolutely, my friend. We're going to have Decrypted Taxes on the show as well. So we're going to talk about how you manage your taxes. How do you give a vast majority of your wealth to the most corrupt government organization in the entire world? If you guys are about that life, we're going to show you guys how to do it properly, legally, and the right way to protect as much of your wealth as humanly possible. So Decrypted Taxes will be on the show. I'm not sure what day. I forgot. Let me see. Maybe he'll tell me. Maybe I can pull it over here. Oh, he's coming on tonight. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we'll be on the show tonight. So if you guys get time, swing over to decryptedtax.com and check them out. Let me throw that website up here and see what we got going on over here. Let me give a little preview of what's going to happen here in a little bit. There it is. Decrypts Tax, right? Cryptocurrency and DeFi tax preparation. We utilize innovation tax software to streamline your cryptocurrency and DeFi tax preparation process. Our goal is to save you time, minimize your tax liabilities at the state, local, and federal level while ensuring compliance with all U.S. tax reporting requirements. You all guys are moving some big money around and you guys want to protect that wealth. Definitely come join us tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right over here on the Ryan Matta Show. We're going to break it down for you guys. So greatly appreciate the Decrypt Tax team coming over here and sharing that wealth and knowledge with us. We greatly appreciate it, my friend. God bless you. Higher calling. Good to see you, my friend. I'm bummed out. Everybody that was over here in the live chat, I was going to give you guys all shout outs and all of a sudden it just disappeared on me. If you guys get time, come over and join us on Rumble, man. The free speech capital of the internet. Who knows how long we're going to be up and running over here on YouTube, but it is about that time, folks. Oh no, we got a little bit more time left. Let's jump into one more article. I want to get up, want to jump over here and move over to the next article because I forgot I started 15 minutes late today. I was going down too many rabbit holes. But let's talk about Bitcoin holdings, right? Holding Bitcoin now profitable for 99.99 or 99.92% of all days. So Bitcoin purchased between March 9th and the 13th and March 25th and 29th is currently at a loss, representing 0.016%, or just 6 days in the last 3,732 tradable days that did not turn out to be profitable. Let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. There you go. Hernando's sharing the decrypttax.com or decrypted.tax over here in the live chat as well. So Bitcoiners maintained a profitable portfolio 99.92% of all days, leaving just 6 days when investing in Bitcoin at $66,584 did not turn out to be profitable since it launched over 14 years ago. On January 3rd of 2009, Bitcoin recently marked on its all-time high price. Let me move this over. I can't read it over there. There we go. Bitcoin recently marked an all-time high price at $73,600 in mid-March, ensuring that Bitcoin holders across all price points saw their investment appreciate. Since then, Bitcoin has continued to hold prices close to $68,000 to $70,000 range, according to data from Cointelegraph Market Pro and TradingView. And I also want to point out too, like anytime Bitcoin's ever like hit a peak like that, like a really high new all-time high, it's normally kind of like straight off a cliff, like almost immediately. And it doesn't kind of like trade in this range. It's acting like it's getting ready to take off again. But I do think that we do have some big black swan event coming in the next couple of weeks. So take that for what it is. As a result of market volatility induced price fluctuations, only a handful of Bitcoin holders remain unprofitable, according to crypto financial service firm blockchain.com. Now, Bitcoin purchased between March 9th and 13th and the 25th and 29th is currently at a loss. In other words, only 0.16% of days out of 3,700 blah, blah, blah. I just kind of reiterated the same thing. Now, zooming out on the price chart solidifies the strategic importance of holding Bitcoin during the bear market. And if we jump over here and we take a look at this chart as well, you guys can see what I'm seeing. And this is on the logarithmic scale. So if you just see, it doesn't really matter when you bought Bitcoin. If you just continue to hold this asset over long periods of time, it's on this upward trajectory, which I personally think we're going to see more of the chart look more of like this, where we went from basically, 9 cents all the way up to, what was it, almost like $30 or $40. I think we're going to go from that, $15,000 range all the way up to probably close to 1.5 million in the next year, because everybody's realizing it. Everybody's waking up every single day, specifically Gen Z. Like, these people have one opportunity to correct the wrong that their parents, their great-grandparents, and their great-great-grandparents portrayed onto them. Like, their grandparents did absolutely nothing, and they sat by and they let this government just loot and pillage and rape and steal and rob every ounce of wealth from every single American citizen. Our country, our roads should be paved in gold. Why are we not Dubai? Why are we giving your tax dollars to third world countries? And citizens of Dubai get $2,500 a month to live there. Like, their government pays them to live there. Our government takes your wealth, taxes you 53%, and then they give your money, your hard-earned tax dollars, to other countries and NGOs. And now they're paying for you to be invaded, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to trust the dollar, guys. That Bitcoin shit's dangerous. No, your government is dangerous, folks. Wake the hell up before it's too late. So CoinMarketCap estimates that 86.28% of all Bitcoin wallets hold up to $1,000. 13% hold anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000, and 0.69% hold $100,000 in Bitcoin. Additionally, Bitcoin consistent comebacks from bear markets and subsequent price retention allow the mining community to thrive, contribute to the hash rate, and inadvertently increase the security of the Bitcoin network. As the Bitcoin halving events approach, institutions and private investors are accumulating Bitcoin, anticipating a price surge. The fourth Bitcoin halving is expected to commence at the block height of 840,000, expected on April 20th of 2024. Now, if I'm not mistaken, let me jump back over here and before we pick that up, because I'm pretty sure that the halving, if I seen that wrong, yeah, it is. Okay. So check this out. They're now calling for the halving on April 19th. at block height 2441. Yeah, so the new estimated halving date and price right now is at $66,621. So I'm not sure. I think the things are changing. It's all based off that block timing. So we might see this halving take place a little bit sooner than initially expected. The 421 was going to be pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. So the mining community is also strategizing a game plan to remain profitable post Bitcoin halving, despite rewards being slashed in half to 3.125 BTC. Now, Canadian Bitcoin mining firm Bitfarm pledged nearly $240 million to upgrade its fleet of mining equipment. That's just bonkers, man. The amount of energy that these things are consuming and the ability for people to just build this entire industry around Bitcoin mining it's really mind-blowing when you think about it. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Bitfarm's Chief Financial Officer Jeffrey Lucas gave his reasoning behind the ongoing fleet upgrade. The transformational fleet upgrade propels Bitfarms in scale and profitability amid the Bitcoin halving. This is the game changer that triples our hash rate to 21 equihashes, increasing our targeted operation capacity by 83% to 440 megawatts, and improves the fleet efficiency by 40% to 21 terahashes, 21 W/terahashes. That's insane. You guys missed the show yesterday where we talked about the mining of Bitcoin and like how much a mega hash actually is and how much power that is. We had 2 mining shows yesterday, and they were amazing, guys. If you guys didn't see it, the Wilson brothers, Eric and Steven, and David Branscombe came on the show, and they broke down exactly how the mining operations are going and how they work. It was really intriguing. I was really excited about it. And then the last thing we'll end it on this. I wanted to show you guys this, right? This is why it's so important to self-custody your wallets, right? Our government now has the ability to create directed energy weapons attacks, which basically create earthquakes at a magnitude on demand by a press of a button, with these neutrino generators and these particle accelerators and everything that they have the ability to create now. So Wicked, is your Bitcoin self-custody setup robust enough to survive earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, etc.? Another reason to consider geographically distributing multi-sig is to have redundancy in case one of your keys is lost during a natural disaster. Now, this would be worst case, folks. I don't have the ability to turn it up much more. I'll try. These people are nuts. They're climbing in that house. This is over in Taiwan. Magically, China's getting ready to invade Taiwan, and by all of a sudden they have natural disasters. And this is what I really want to know, right? We'll end it on a question about El Salvador. These people despise El Salvador. They despise Bukele. They see everything that Bitcoin is doing over in El Salvador. They see these Bitcoin mining volcanoes. They have the ability to trigger earthquakes and natural disasters on demand. We're talking about hurricanes, earthquakes, hailstorms, tornadoes. It would be naive and probably juvenile of you, to say the least, to think that these people don't have the ability to create an earthquake or a volcano on demand. So if they have this power and this ability, and we're sitting here letting them do it, right? How long before that Bitcoin mining operation fires up in El Salvador, and then magically there's a volcanic eruption that takes place? Is there any equipment that they're using to monitor these volcanoes? Is there any way that they can actually prove that it happens? Because we've seen it. Where was it? Was it in Brazil? We've seen it now in New Zealand. Was an absolute fact that was the United States. We did it twice. There's been many more directed energy weapons attacks. Hawaii, we think, was one of them. Not investing advice. This is just satire. Everything I'm saying here is just my opinion. Nothing is fact. There's a lot of due diligence, or there's a lot of misinformation out there, and everything I said is probably misinformation. So take it for what it is. Do your own research. Don't believe anything I just said, especially if you're on YouTube. But yeah, it's scary times we're living in, folks. Do me a favor, smash that like button. It is 11:15. We're on our way to wrapping up this show. God bless each and every one of you guys. Again, come join us. Decrypted.tax will be joining us tonight. So if you guys are into paying your taxes and you guys want to make sure that you're not getting harassed by the 87,000 IRS agents that are going to come to your doors armed, then come over and join us, because I think it's going to be a lot of great information, especially if you got a lot of wealth and you don't want this government crawling up your butt. There's no better way to do it than with the professionals. So God bless each and every one of you guys. Smash that like button on your way out the door, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Run.